We are posted up outside, overlooking the pool and the ocean. The kids are swimming right now, so hopefully, you want to say hi, Liv? Say hi. She's like, who am I saying hi to? Max, say hi. This is our beautiful view. So here is our pool, and it's got this nice little ledge and then this staircase, perfect size. There is the ocean. Here's a peek into our house. So lots of space. Our initial intent was to talk our families into coming down and spending this week off with us in between retreats. So there are 3 bedrooms upstairs, but it's just us. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it work, but it's been so much fun. We check out tomorrow and we meet the rest of our retreat group at the beach in Dominical, where we've been spending a lot of our time. I'm gonna log in here on my computer, that's why I'm looking down. That way I can better track your guys' comments and questions. So let me see here. Alrighty.
Hola, hola.
Did I click this? Okay. All right, we're here. Good morning from Las Vegas.
Nice.
Hi, Prudence.
Yeah, we've got the computer here, so we have to look down, and the camera's up here, so.
It feels like it's a little zoomed in, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We're good and centered? All right. Yeah, let us know where everybody is from. California, we've got Kimberly, Addie, let's see, Love Dusty's Buzz. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
news
right.
to YouTube. You already mentioned on Instagram, because it's been a couple days.
Yeah, I needed a change. I needed a release. So we're here in Costa Rica on this retreat, and I have thoughts. I have things that don't serve me, and I thought the buzzing of the head would be like a release. People say that our hair holds our memories and all of these things, and I'm like, you know what? I just need to get rid of some baggage.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Look what I got here. Pop
Oh,
out
nice.
chat. Okay.
Oh, good.
Now we can really get tuned into these comments. We've got Shelly from Iowa.
Nice.
So really long story short, I lived in northern Iowa in a small town for a while, and I do remember Shelly. Her husband was our dentist, I believe. I was like so young, it's hard to remember, but yeah, so now she watches our YouTube channel and it's super cool. Cape Coral, Florida, awesome.
Nice.
Close to
Another
us.
Florida.
Pennsylvania.
Fort Myers, Florida. Lots of Floridas.
Washington.
Nice.
Michelle from Washington. Karen from Montreal.
Netherlands.
Tamara from Nashville.
Cool. We love this. Sweden.
Marisa from Fort Myers.
Nice.
Sorry, maybe it's Marissa. I'm not sure. Either way.
Buffalo, New York. Michigan, Texas.
France.
Another Florida. Another Florida.
Wait, what time is it in France? It's probably 9 hours ahead then?
And from where we are?
Yeah, because we're like mountain time right now.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, technically, I think we're Central Time, but Costa Rica does not do daylight savings, so everyone else turned the clocks forward and Costa Rica stayed the same. So it seems like every year when we fly here, we're already like super confused what time zone we're in, and then it's daylight savings like the next morning, so it's even more confusing, but we just have to let our phones sync up and then we're good to go.
We've got the kids in the pool here,
Yeah.
and I cannot get the kids to stop drinking the pool water.
Drinking? Oh, you got oatmeal on your neck, probably from Biv.
I just saw a super funny Instagram the other day that was like this dad bathing his kids, and it flashed from the dad over to the kids, and it was like the Frank the Tank guy, like doing a beer bong. The kids were doing like a beer bong of bathtub water, and it's so true. And it's like,
and I think
kids,
Liv
stop
had a
drinking
fly in her
pool water.
mouth earlier.
She had a fly in her mouth,
And
then an ant, and it's
and
just
she
like,
threw her toothbrush in the toilet earlier this morning, and Max goes, and she put it in her mouth.
But it wasn't just the toilet, it was after Max peed in it. And so I look, and it's like yellow pee water, and she's brushing
But the
her teeth.
funny
And it's
thing
just
is,
one thing after the next with these kids.
their illnesses are like fewer and farther between than ours, and shorter lived when they do get like anything. Anyways, I was gonna mention the cool thing about Costa Rica, it's definitely kind of an adjustment, but since we're like basically like super close to the equator and there is no time change, every single day of the year is like exact same as far as like there are 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of dark. So the sun comes up just before 6 and sets right around 6 p.m. And so, yeah, back in like Nebraska in the summers, it would set at like 10 p.m. So we'd be out like landscaping and swimming and doing all the things and eating late dinners. But here it's like you really get into a rhythm and a flow. And also they don't have 4 seasons, they only have 2, which is the rainy season and the dry season, which is another. You said that our chef, Ariana, was like, wait, what's spring?
I'm always like, we love summer. And she's like, remind me summer? Like, they don't really know. And I'm just like, oh, yeah.
So weird. It's summer here every day, but it does rain like torrentially for like a good part of the later half of the year.
Yeah.
Even in the summer, I think, right? Like summer through like fall and winter, kind of.
Yeah, the rainy season starts in like a month, I think.
Yeah.
So April, May, June, July, all the way through like the end of November, I think. And Brian and Jody are the ones that own the retreat center here. They started it about 15 years ago. They're also from Florida, and Brian's like, he's like, October, November, he's like, it gets brutal. Like, it's really hard to go day after day of like just torrential gray and rain. So no place is perfect. That's what we keep finding. No place is perfect. We're liking Florida because of the weather, but there are a lot of things that we aren't loving about Florida too. So we're like,
After, I think when we moved there, we thought it would be like roadside fruit stands and like farmers markets, kind of like they are here with like pineapple, papaya, mango.
Yeah.
And I guess we haven't really like seen that yet, but I'm sure in time we could find it.
Yeah.
When we originally moved to Florida, we went to Pine Island, which it was just like Costa Rica, but otherwise, like, I wouldn't say it's as lush, and there aren't mountains like there are here. So this is truly like, this is like, I would say Hawaii is the closest to Costa Rica of anywhere in the U.S.
For sure.
But it's just so beautiful,
It's
at
so
least where we
beautiful.
are. And we've talked to people who say like, oh, well, if you go up north, it's drier, it's flatter, and the Caribbean side is flat, there's no waterfalls. So I think right where we are is like the sweet spot.
Yeah, right in Costa Rica, right
Yeah.
here. Yeah, I think we've thought about like investing in an Airbnb property and trying to figure out, do we do that in Florida or do we do that here? And it's like, if we do that here, where? But like you said, we're 4 hours from the airport, but it's really beautiful here.
Yeah.
It's so like mountainous. And
It's worth the drive.
yeah, it's worth the drive. So
There's a little bit of culture shock at first, but overall, like, we really feel like we've settled in at this point. We've been here for 2 weeks now. So the first retreat went amazingly well. It was such a fun group, as always. It never ceases to amaze us that like everybody is always so cool and so chill, so willing and open, like, and even Brian and Jody at Farm of Life have always said, you guys bring the best people.
yeah.
So thank you guys for.
As we speak, we're texting with our retreat group that's showing up tonight. They're
Yes.
going to be here tonight.
But we won't see them till tomorrow.
We won't see them till tomorrow morning. They fly into San Jose. Anyway, we do like a group chat, like a Zoom call, and then we do a group text message so everybody knows each other. And we're super excited because this group is texting each other like crazy. They're meeting up in the airports. They're sharing cab rides. And that's really fun and exciting for us because we want to be like a big family when we all get here. And
like you always say, a conduit.
yeah,
It's not
right.
about everyone coming to us. It's
Right.
like we want to bring people together to make their own friends and develop relationships outside of Eat, Move, Rest.
Totally,
too.
right, yeah, and it's not just, about coming to hang out with us. It's definitely like these people come here to have their own experiences, to make friends with each other, so then they can go out into the world and share all of this fun, lifestyle, this experience with their friends and family. And so yeah, it's cool. We like to almost just kind of sit back and be with people on our retreats, because because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Meeting these people, you know, it's just super fun. We can't wait. Tight?
It's good.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's tied. There's a bow. She's concerned that her swimsuit isn't right.
These kids are gonna have gills by the end of this trip. They've spent all of their time in the pool, in the water.
We're starting to get lots of questions we should catch up on here.
Yeah, we're talking too much.
I've got a lot of people asking us where we are exactly. We are like just south, like minutes away from Dominical, where we've spent a lot of our time. It's a very popular small little surf town.
Yep.
Lots and lots of hippies, like just very earthy, natural people. And like, if you want to see like Sports Illustrated models and like Ken dolls walking the streets, like this is the place. And it's just a testament to like how amazing surfing is for your body. I always say surfers and dancers have like the best physique.
Right.
And they're not even really trying. It's just like, it just comes with the territory because you're moving your body like in so many different ways.
Right.
And I actually had my first surf lesson and now I fully understand. And it was really awesome.
Yeah.
I shared on my stories. I was able to get up. I fell like the first 2 or 3 times and then I got up. And then after that I was able to ride several waves and it was like so much fun. And it just like, you lose track of time.
Yeah.
It was just definitely a full body workout. I think that the home workouts I do, like similar to the ones we have on our channel, like really did prepare me to be able to like have the balance and the strength, and it was super cool. And you've done a couple surf lessons.
Yep, yeah, it's super fun. This place is definitely the surf spot. I mean, the waves are perfect. They're pretty aggressive actually, which is why
I was surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going out in that.
Right, yeah, it's not like it's not really a beginner place, but you were in the right spot at the right time to learn.
I had a good teacher.
Yeah, he was legit. So
we started out like just surfing in like maybe knee deep, thigh deep, and by the end of it I didn't even realize, but I'm like, wait, I'm up to my neck in water right now, and the waves were big, like really big. So it was a little bit scary, but I think being with a board made it less scary than just like trying to like be out there by myself. So yeah, if you guys have any tips on learning to surf, let me know. Let's see. And you can watch on our highlights if you want to go back and see a clip on my Costa Rica
Erin
highlight.
did really good. Super good.
It was just me and one other girl with the instructor. Let's see.
Is Costa Rica safe? Yeah, I would say it is safe. Someone said here, I keep hearing that Costa Rica is not very safe, but that's not our experience. We've been here more than we've been anywhere else in the world. We've been obviously with the kids every time. We rent our own cars. We stay we've stayed all over, and it seems very safe. Everybody's very friendly.
It just depends where you're at too. If you're staying in a hostel, you might get robbed. I don't know.
Right.
If you're staying in the city, something might happen. But
otherwise, it seems very friendly. It's as far as we know, like I always compare it to Mexico because you hear very scary things about Mexico in regards to drugs and cartels and kidnappings and all these things. But it's not like that here. At least you don't hear about it. So
and they've never
we
had
feel
a military.
Safe. Never had a Navy. Never had a military. So they're, it's just, it seems to be a very safe and peaceful place.
And I don't know if this statistic is still true, but I think it is, that there are more American expats in Costa Rica than any other country in the world.
Right.
And, I mean, it seems that way.
So if that's something that matters to you, you can feel comfortable that you're not the only English-speaking American around. There's almost always other people. In fact, it seems like there's more Americans than Ticos or Ticas, which is the local Costa Ricans. It seems like there's more sometimes. So, yeah, I don't know, but no more pool water in the mouth, kids.
Someone would love to hear our thoughts on infrared saunas, and she says, I love your ice baths.
Yeah.
We haven't done much sauna stuff, but I am obsessed. Whenever I can do red light therapy or sauna or infrared sauna, amazing.
So we've been talking about like sun gazing and things while we're here in Costa Rica. I know there's a lot of controversy on that. Obviously, you don't want to stare at the sun during midday and burn your retinas, but we're naturally drawn to watching sunrises and sunsets. The sun has the full spectrum of light. Okay, so it's got UVA, UVB, it's got infrared, it's everything. So watching the first minutes of a sunrise or the last of a sunset, like we did on the beach last night, you actually absorb these infrared, these near and far infrared lights, just like or rays, just like the Juve. We have a Juve at home. I'm guessing that's
Red
what this
light.
person is possibly referring to. We
That's
love
not
that.
a sauna though, that's just a red light.
Oh right, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a sauna, but it's a red light therapy device. But again, you know, it's funny because here in Costa Rica, all of these things are free. You
A
know,
lot of the things that we use now that companies are capitalizing on are like simulations for like
Right.
free things that nature can provide us.
Yeah,
You look at like supplements and it's just like freeze-dried fruit and superfoods when you can pluck it off the tree. Here, I know it's not possible for everyone everywhere, so like superfood powders and supplements are amazing because it gives people access to what you can freely access here. But same goes for, like Dusty said, like the light therapy things. Cold water, here you just get into a waterfall, and barefoot grounding, I mean, it's just like, you just want to go barefoot here. It's so
Yeah.
amazing. And even one thing that's cool about barefooting, outside of just like that it grounds you, is that it also like causes you to really be present.
Yeah.
Because you really have to watch your step. You don't want to step on a sharp rock or get a sliver or step on an ant that's gonna bite you.
Right.
All kinds of things. So like you really watch every step, whereas when you have shoes on, you're trampling the earth and you're killing the ants and you're just like
You're
not
in your
able-
head,
yeah,
right?
you're in your head. So it's kind of cool that it's like it can become a moving, walking meditation
For sure.
when you barefoot.
yeah. Water.
You can even do that in your backyard. I mean,
the
you don't have
water
to
in
be in
this-
Costa Rica for that.
Right. The water in this whole country is drinkable.
You want it?
I was reading
me help
on the
you.
bus ride from the airport last 2 weeks ago now that 100% of the water in this country is drinkable. So there's clean water everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of it is spring fed, so it's got no chlorine, no fluoride, anything.
It's naturally structured.
Naturally structured water that's rushing down through the volcanic soil. You know, there's so many things about this country. If you guys are interested, just get on YouTube and search Costa Rica. It's the most biodiverse
Livy.
place on the planet when it comes to flora and fauna. There's more animals, there's more plants. It's just like what Costa Rica means rich coast. And it really is a very rich country. It's beautiful and it's full of life and good energy here. That's why we love it. Yeah, I did see somebody just now. I don't know where the question is in the lineup. Someone asked if our Italy retreat is full.
Yeah, I was just looking at that right here.
So since we're talking about retreats, we had originally planned on going to Italy in September. Unfortunately, there are some issues with the planning and the venue. We had a few people really interested. After talking to them, it's coming up really fast. We've decided to push Italy till about this time next year, maybe April of next year. So it's still gonna happen, but we've kind of pumped the brakes on it a little bit because it was coming up really fast for us and for everybody. So Italy is still going to happen, and you guys can definitely visit the website and still submit a form and get in touch with us about it. It's not full. In fact, we haven't booked any yet. We've got, I think, 3 people that want to come that we've talked to, but we still have a lot of open spots and yeah,
see.
plenty of time to do that. So Italy, this time next year. Yeah, definitely. Excited for that
And
one.
possibly Costa Rica again. We might just
Yeah.
do 1 retreat rather than 2.
Yeah.
Just to free up more time to do Italy and other places to
Right.
start branching out.
Yeah.
Svetlana is asking, what do you do on your retreats? We actually have a handful of retreat recap videos, and we'll have
Yeah.
another new one coming sometime in April for this series of retreats.
Yep.
But essentially, it's just all things plant-based food with a high emphasis on raw foods like fresh juices and smoothies and tropical local fruits that are in season. And then dinner time, we always do like really good, nourishing, grounding cooked meals like curries and soups and stews and veggie burgers,
Yep.
tacos. So that's all the food. And in between that, we're hiking to waterfalls. We do daily yoga practice. We do some breath work and sound therapy.
Yep.
There's also the opportunity to get massages and just lounge by the pool.
Yep.
We have fresh coconuts and coconut water on demand and
Hiking.
bananas like dripping off the trees.
My favorite thing is
And-
the excursions. We
yeah.
hike, we do some major hikes. We do a really big all-day hike to the top of Diamante Mountain. Waterfalls, we see at least, well, the one waterfall, Nayaka Waterfall, is like ranked number 7 or 8 in the world by Nat Geo. So we see some epic waterfalls.
And that one, there are other people at, which is cool. I mean, it's massive and it's like public, but
Yeah.
other than that, like the other waterfalls we visit are
just
private and we
us.
don't see anybody else, and so it's really magical.
So we see 3 or 4 epic waterfalls. We go to the beach a couple of times. We do a lot. Honestly, they're very busy. They're packed. It's a packed schedule, but
It kind of
we
tapers
like
off
it that
towards
way.
the end of the week, though, when people get a little bit more tired and
Yep.
there's more time to just relax and chill at Farm of Life.
Yeah.
So it's just perfect. It's the perfect balance of everything.
Someone just asked if people ever come by themselves. I would say of the 15 people that come on our retreats, 13 of them come alone. There's maybe 1 or 2 couples. We have a lot of mother-daughter.
Kids?
A lot of mother-daughter. So now the kids are eating rocks. It's crazy. If you guys have kids, you get it. But yeah, so most everybody comes alone, and most of them are women too.
Yeah.
So
I was also going to mention Farm of Life does have their own YouTube channel. And something we've never done before is we interviewed Brian. So Brian and Jody are the owners. They're so knowledgeable. They really help to facilitate our retreat and bring a lot to the table, like so much. There's such a wealth of information from the farm tour where Brian walks us through all of the medicinal uses of the fruits, the fruit tree leaves,
yeah.
how to make different teas and
Herbs.
tinctures, and then like we go through their herb greenhouse and he tells us all about the medicinal uses of those.
Yep.
So anyway, something we did different this year is we just did a little like 15-minute interview with him.
Yep.
So that'll also be on our channel soon.
Next week,
Yeah,
next Saturday.
week.
Yeah.
So we'll have that one and then we'll have like a full recap after that.
Yeah, and that one's super cool. Again, Brian and Jody both are great, but Brian he's a talker, so he's fun to listen to because he's very knowledgeable, but he knows like how to say things and talk about things that are very interesting and easy to grasp.
Yeah.
Because he's done it all. They healed themselves basically years and years ago. So.
And so we have so many people asking if kids are allowed.
Yeah.
And we did have someone bring their 16-year-old son this year, and same thing last year, another 16-year-old son.
Right.
And that's probably about the cutoff. We can't do like small children and infants just for liability reasons. That being said, it is really something that has at least been on my bucket list. Like if not a family retreat, maybe like a mom's retreat of
Yeah.
some sort. But I feel like it might be safer and easier to do it in the States, in Florida possibly.
There's a lot of
just
liability with
because-
little kids, and a lot of places, we've talked to a lot of venues, and most of them just say no kids allowed.
Right,
which
because
is
the
hard.
main thing is that most people are actually coming on these retreats to do healing work, and they're coming to kind of get a breather and a break from their kids.
Right.
And I know that's some parents, but then other parents are like, have a newborn, for example, like me, who like wanted to breastfeed and like not leave their baby behind. So I fully understand that.
Right.
But it just wasn't possible in this location. But we're really gonna try and, maybe we'll survey you guys and see what would work best. Like,
And
would you
figure
rather just
out-
do one in Florida where it's a little bit more accessible?
Yeah.
Same kind of vibe, but like within the States?
Yeah.
Let's
Maybe even
see.
shorter. Again, if you're coming with a 1 or 2 or 3 year old, maybe it's not a 7 or 8 day thing. Maybe it's just a 3 or 4 day thing.
And then Ariel is asking for the entire cost. So it is all inclusive,
Yep.
but the price changes every year. So if you want that information, just send us an email through the website, eatmoverest.com/events.
Yep. Yeah, send us an inquiry and we can give you the price breakdowns.
But-
It varies a little bit. The retreats are all inclusive, and then you basically just have to get yourself here. So you pay You pay your airlines, and you pay the one retreat cost. The only other added costs are things like tips, souvenirs, if you want to buy souvenirs, you know, if you want to buy a massage or something extra.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they're super affordable. Honestly, we've looked at attending retreats ourselves. We've looked at hosting other retreats in other locations, and they're way more affordable for an all-inclusive 7 or 8 days like we're doing. We're about the cheapest you can find. So it's been fun to do, and it's been fun because if it's too expensive, you know, you only get a certain type of person, and that's not always, you know, who we want to be drawing. We want everybody to be able to come, which we have over the years, and it's been so great, so fun. So
If you guys have questions outside of Costa Rica and retreats, you can ask anything, whether it's nutrition or fitness related or parenting, anything at all.
ask away.
But we're just probably obviously talking a lot about it because that's what we're doing right now.
Because we're here.
But I don't know, what's been your favorite part of the trip so far?
Me?
Do you prefer like what we're doing now versus retreat, or how do you feel?
No, I think I would prefer the retreat. I get like a little bit like I like being busy, so the downtime is fun. But again, I find that I'm just chasing the kids, like cleaning up after them. And during the retreat, I like getting up early. I like having, you know, the meals
We've
are
gotten
prepared.
up early though.
Yeah, we've gotten up
6
early.
every day. For me, at
But
least.
on the retreat, the meals are prepared. We have a schedule. It's like we go on a big hike, and I just like a faster pace, I think, which is surprising because most people are like, "Wow, you guys have a dream life." We very much are living a dream life. We get that, and we feel very fortunate. But yeah, I like the pace of the retreats. I like being around people, and I like the pace. It's fun to have something exciting to do every day that keeps me busy. And the hikes, I just love hiking and stuff. It's like my favorite, exploring and hiking. So yeah.
I'm mixed because I think that they're so hard to compare. They're so different.
Yeah.
You know? We're more like immersed in nature on the retreat, and here we're in this like super clean, modern, cool home, which is like so comfortable.
Yeah.
So they're super different and both like amazing in their own ways. And like Dusty said, here we're kind of alone and at a slower pace, and there we're with everybody at a faster pace.
Yeah.
And for me being an introvert, I just need the balance. Like this is like my recharge time when I can like recharge the battery, plug in or unplug from the world. And then going to the retreat, then I'm like fully charged and like, I don't know if I'm introvert or extrovert, because like when we're around people, I love being around everybody, but I just need to like retreat myself to recharge. So it's a perfect balance. Yeah. And I would recommend, like, if you guys have the chance to go on a retreat, like take at least a couple days to yourself, like before or after, to like do your own thing if you have the time and funds to do so.
Yeah, it's definitely worth getting that.
Greatest ever. Are the bugs bad there? Honestly, no. Like
We've
zero,
had the doors open.
Zero mosquitoes, unlike
They're
Florida.
way worse in Florida.
Because it's dry season, but during rainy season it will get buggier. But honestly, this year I haven't even seen a scary spider.
No, or mosquitoes, like nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, we see hummingbirds and bees and stuff like that. But someone asked when the best time to come is, and I would say now, January through like March.
Yep.
Because it's the dry season.
Yeah.
So.
After that, it does get rainy. When we first got here, it was raining quite a bit the first 2 or 3 days, and they were like, I hope the rainy season isn't starting early. So we were kind of nervous, but it's totally dried up now. Let's see. But it's actually nice because usually dry season also means that plants are a little bit drier and less lush. But because there have been a few rain showers, like everything is super green. So it's like super perfect right now.
Our first retreat was actually really wet. It rained on our whole hike day, and it rained like almost every night, which was really surprising. The first few years that we were here, we didn't see any rain. So it's been kind of fun to get to see rain, but not be like rained out. So it's been a good mix.
Prudence asked, how do you handle doing oil-free when eating out in general when it's not restaurant and you get... When it's not a restaurant, you get to pick. Any suggestions for eating out on vacation? We've actually consumed probably like way more oil than we're used to, at least because we've been eating out like once
Yeah.
a day during this week off.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just something, it's a rule that like we're willing to bend. Like, I don't think I would definitely draw the line at animal products, obviously. Like, we still eat vegan, but like oil is just virtually unavoidable at restaurants because restaurant food is meant to be kind of a treat and it's meant to taste really good, and salt, sugar, and oil is unfortunately how most restaurants do it. So,
Right.
you know, if there's an option, like sometimes they will, like if it's not pre-made, you can say, can you go lighter on the oil or can you do oil free? Like sometimes they might be able to accommodate you, but
Yeah, we had Indian food yesterday afternoon, which is like the best Indian we've ever had. It was at like not a very fancy place, but it was the best food ever. And I just told them like, you know, no butter or oil on the naan. Like occasionally you can request things like that, but yeah, for the most part, you kind of just have to do your best and you know, deal with consuming a little bit of oil because it's like Erin said, it's almost unavoidable. But I find too that eating earlier in the day helps. Like if we
Yeah.
go out and eat a bunch of greasy food late, then I feel lousy. Like I get reflux, I can't sleep well.
Yeah.
I feel bad the next day. But
eat
we
it
ate
if
at
you
like
eat early. That way you're using it as fuel. It's not
Totally.
just like
it's not just gonna sit in
gurgling
your,
in your throat.
belly all night. Yeah, so we met Brian and Jody from the retreat owners. We met them at 3:30 for a very early dinner yesterday. Yeah, and I think we were done around 5:30, which was nice because
see.
you know you eat at 7:30 or around then, it gets hard. You want to be done? How about you
I had a
wait
thought
just a
this
little
morning.
bit
Am
longer?
I causing
Also- Okay.
am I causing cancer using PAM sprays?
Why
I don't know about causing cancer, but I would definitely say it's probably better to avoid those if you can. A better option if you are gonna like lightly grease a pan or like a baking cookie sheet or muffin tray, like just use a little bit of coconut oil, like put it on a paper towel and like wax on and then get a dry towel and wax off, and that's really like all you need. So you're not really even getting as much calories from oil as you are just like making it easier to bake. So I would say do that and avoid the PAM. Get organic coconut oil. You're an extroverted introvert. Yes, that's probably true. Snakes there. We've only seen one snake and it was small, very small. That being said, it did kind of startle me just because I know that like some of the smaller snakes are the more venomous and deadly ones. And we're pretty sure it was a neotropical rattlesnake. So, but to be honest, like, especially if you're with somebody else, which you should be anyways when you're hiking, like usually they can feel the vibrations and they can hear your feet and like they will like kind of scurry off. So the chances are you're never even gonna know they were there because they're more afraid of you than you are of them. So yeah, we haven't really ever encountered anything super scary.
Yeah, I did see, what is it called? The yellow eyelash
Pit viper?
pit viper, bright yellow. One day on our hike a few years ago, the guide actually pointed it out. It was up in a tree. And the snake that we saw the other day, I mean, the whole thing, he was curled up, but he was tiny, teeny tiny, and that's how this other one was too. So, and the same as like the poison dart frogs, they are teeny
But if
tiny,
you
like
think
the size
about
of
it-
your fingernail sometimes.
They're like, their prey is probably like a small frog, you know?
Right,
It's
right.
not gonna be like they're gonna try and go after you
Yeah.
unless you step on them, which again, going back to just being mindful where you step. But
Yeah.
most of the time they sense your vibrations, they can hear us talking and stomping and they'll like scurry away and you won't
Right.
even know they were there.
Definitely.
Ooh, there's a bug like in my face.
After we said there are no bugs.
Now I'm getting creeped out talking about it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Edward says, hi guys, great show and info. A friend of mine living in CR makes natural
here.
soap products.
Bring it here.
Big blue eyes like yours. Say hi for me if you see her. I wonder where at.
Makes interesting.
Let's see. We did go to a farmer's market and there was soap products. Let's see. But Costa Rica's big, so I don't know.
No, it's not big. It's tiny.
I mean, tiny, but there's still a lot of
Yeah.
area to cover.
Let's see.
Farmers markets, walkable town, good for single mother areas, great for living Tampa or Atlantic coast. Any recommendations, please?
Wow.
We don't know Florida that well, honestly. Like, we only know our little neck of the woods. As far as walkability, it would have to be like a condo in downtown Sarasota. Otherwise, you're not going to really get that.
Right. Florida's big and flat, and so yeah, it's.
You'd have to be like in a city. But I don't know which coast would be better. Do you prefer Costa Rica to Hawaii? I'm assuming it's cheaper than Hawaii. I would say
cheaper than anywhere.
The main difference is, like, if you're looking at, for example, like where we're at specifically in Costa Rica, it's very similar terrain to Kauai. The only difference is Hawaii has like no deadly animals, and Costa Rica is like what
That's
that show
all.
or this guy at the nature sanctuary said, it's the most biologically intense place in the world.
Yeah, and that was quoted by, again, like Nat Geo or something legit.
So there's so much flora and fauna, and unfortunately that also means lots of poisonous or venomous. But that doesn't always mean deadly.
It doesn't mean deadly, and again, it's like it's not like it's not like people are dying here from all the things. It's just something, to keep in mind. That being said, I would say I prefer Costa Rica over Hawaii because the cost.
It's a lot more affordable.
It's so much more affordable. Like, this house that we're in is like a dream home that obviously we're just renting it, but this in Hawaii it'd be out of reach. It'd be out of reach.
And also, you're not landlocked, not landlocked. You wouldn't have to worry about like if you might get island fever or feeling like
we're a 2.5 hour flight from home, from Florida here. So that's that's different than it took us 9 hours to get to Hawaii.
The thing I like about Hawaii is, like I said, there's nothing that's going to kill you.
Right.
I also like that it's part of the U.S. But like the people and the culture, the vibe seemed so similar to here. I would say just like lots of flowy clothing and long hair hippies and moms with their babies hanging off their hips, and like it just felt very similar in that regard. Yeah. But I think they're pretty similar overall.
Yeah, I will say though that I've found that the architecture, again, I keep going back to like the cost of living in houses. But as you know, with like EatMoveRest homes, the homes that we're doing and the house that we bought in Florida, like that's super important to me. And the houses here are super cool. Like the new houses that people are building, like architecture is awesome. It's all eco-friendly. Costa Rica is like, I think, almost a carbon neutral country. The country is 2/3 rainforest, so it's extremely lush, extremely healthy. The water's, like I've said before, the water's drinkable. The houses are sustainably built and very cool. Hawaii, you don't find that. I find like, unless you're gonna pay millions, you're gonna have to buy like an old, Hawaii house. And that's hard for me as someone that is into architecture and building and design and eco-friendly sustainability. You don't find it as much in Hawaii. Yeah. And if you do, it's very expensive. So, yeah.
Let's see.
But it's part of the U.S., so that makes it easy.
Someone said Outback Australia would give Costa Rica a run for its money with poisonous critters. That's true.
That's true. I
went to Australia in college, and it was the same. It was like the highest concentration of deadly animals.
I think Australia is the highest concentration of deadly animals, but Costa Rica is like the most biodiverse.
I remember
in general.
When we were scuba diving and stuff, they were like, this is what a stonefish looks like, but you won't be able to see them because they're camouflaged. Right. But don't step on one. And I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, and like that little blue octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that one called? I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember. Super deadly.
Yeah, but we would love to go to Australia, though. We've heard great things, and that similar vibe to, what did your friend say?
Florida.
Yeah. Oh, Florida. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people say that Florida looks a lot like Australia, which I've found. I haven't been to Australia. You have, but yeah, I've got a lot of friends in Australia, and like if we're out adventuring, I get Australians that are always like, "Wow, that looks so much like home."
There were parts like this. I mean, like on the little island we were on, it was like very lush, like just clumps of palm trees and
Yeah,
cool
and Noosa,
plants
I
and-
think Noosa, I've got some friends in Noosa, and they send me pictures, and it's very jungly
Yeah.
and very pretty like this too. So, not all like Florida. I would say Florida's boring compared to this. We wish that Florida was either mountainous
We've
or
got
more
like
tropical.
a pine forest in our neighborhood.
We literally live in a
It's not
pine
really
forest.
like palmy, but like
Yeah,
I feel like the difference is like if you have a house and you like landscape design, you could make your yard look like this
Yeah,
like
and I'm
over several
trying.
years. So there are older parts of Florida, older neighborhoods where it does look like this because people have landscaped it. The plants
Right.
have the ability to grow like this there,
yeah,
but here they're just like growing wild everywhere.
right.
Let's see. Okay. How would a person get started in hosting retreats? The number
yeah.
one thing would be
We
like
have
having
opportunity for you.
the number one thing would be having a following or being able to get the people to
Yeah.
pay to come to your retreat.
Even if you're like a yoga instructor,
yeah.
like can you round up
If you
12
have
people?
like a local community would
Yeah.
be one way. It doesn't have to be like YouTube subscribers or online community.
Yeah.
It could be because we've got a friend back in Lincoln who had a Bali retreat and she sold it out like within days just
To
because
just
she's a
friends.
yoga instructor.
Friends and like her yoga instructor clients came on her retreat. So
The first step would be either finding a company who can help you find a location, or just if you know of a retreat center already, reach directly out to it.
or reach out to us because Brian and Jody have opportunities since COVID. They've had a lot of facilitators that either
Like from
can't,
Canada.
like Canada, like Canadians, like can't get here anymore, which is too
They've
bad.
had like 2 or 3 Canadian hosts
Right,
that
and
like couldn't come.
So they have openings, like they had a couple openings this year and next year too. They are trying to sell the farm, which is why we're not sure if we'll be back. But if you feel like you can round up 10 or 12 people or 8,
I would say like 10, between 10 and like
Yeah.
15,
That would
10
be-
and 16.
that would be a good size. We found that's a good size. But if you think that you could do that, you could come and host the very same retreats, almost the same retreats that we host with Brian and Jody, because they've got space. So, yeah.
Angela said, "How did I just notice Dusty's haircut? Looks great."
I have a lot of people asking me about it.
I
and
love it.
Like,
I'm like, you look like a surfer stud. You look like you should be out there on a board. He's got the build for it.
I wish.
You've got that like effortless muscular body.
No.
I have to work hard to stay fit. Just kidding. Anyway, let's see. What is the current temperature? Like 88.
85. Perfect.
Yeah. But it does feel, I would say, hotter in the sun just because we're closer to the equator. Again,
Right.
like it's like the same temperature as Florida right now, but
Yeah.
it gets more intense. Kind
It's
of like
not
an
humid, though,
88
which
in
is weird.
Nebraska is like my favorite, and then an 88 in Florida gets hotter, and an 88 down here gets even hotter yet.
Yeah, it has to do with like the sun.
It's a little balmy today, but like on the evenings where it's rained, then it's like dry the next day. It's like amazing.
Yeah, but there's like an ocean breeze coming
Yeah.
in right now. It's just so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's perfect.
We've got a lot of Australian people on here.
Yeah, on Instagram I always hear from a
Now
lot of
in
Australians
Perth,
too.
Western Australia is beautiful. East Coast, Australia, Melbourne,
Okay, scroll
Melbourne,
through.
Victoria. Michaela from Romania. Wow.
Oh, nice.
I agree, hair looks very sexy.
Thank you.
You can pull off so many hairstyles.
I have to admit that
That's why-
sometimes I care about what people think about my hair. So sometimes I'm like, well, I don't want people to think I look stupid. Nobody wants to look stupid, but
I like the way it feels.
it does feel good. I like to feel it.
No, you guys,
Max told me I
can
look
see,
silly.
I can see a couple gray hairs.
It's true. It's true. The kids.
But you know
kids
what?
have turned me a little bit gray.
He showed me a picture of George Clooney with short hair, and I'm like, yeah, you got a similar vibe, so I'm okay. Even if it goes gray, you can be
Yeah.
a silver fox, that'll look good. Any feedback on whole house water filtration systems? We have actually been talking to a company. Dusty found a guy, and yeah, we're trying to figure. We're
Stay
still trying
tuned
to
on the
figure that
water
out.
thing.
Yeah.
We're always investigating
Evolving.
the water, evolving. Right now we have an RO system. We love AquaTrue. They're a great brand. We have an
Remineralizing RO.
we have a
super important.
remineralizing RO feeding into a Kangen machine. So we've had Kangen. I know everybody's heard of Kangen. A lot of people are skeptical. But when we bought it, it was like the thing. And now we're kind of maybe evolving away from the Kangen and finding other forms of structured water. And we did find something really cool. So give us a couple months here to get that sorted out, and we may have the best water. We're friends with Darren O'Lean. If you guys don't know Darren O'Lean,
I'm gonna link the AquaTrue link because you can get $150 off of this. You can either do the under sink reverse osmosis or countertop, which is a little bit more affordable, less permanent, but it's easy to transport.
At least get an RO system, so you at least have clean water.
They either have mineral drops or they have a remineralizing under sink.
Right.
And you just need to find the link because it'll give you an automatic $150 off. It's amazing.
So definitely at least check out this RO system. But if you want to take the water to the next step, to have it structured,
I'll put it in the description too. I'll also put this link in the description if it's too hard to find it in the chat. If you guys want me to link anything else with discounts, let me know. Back to the questions. Let's see.
Max has been using the GoPro in the pool, but it's hard to control in the water.
Let's see. How do you homeschool while traveling? Honestly, we haven't really. We've been like way off.
But the kids aren't really old enough yet anyway, so we're not like super concerned about it. Because again, Max is only 4 and...
Are the monkeys out where you're staying? At Farm of Life, we hear howler monkeys every morning and every evening. We see toucans flying by. Here, I haven't heard or seen any monkeys, but there are no fruiting trees. But then we go down the road to this restaurant. There are massive, like 100-year-old mango trees dripping like mangoes. There's monkeys, like little capuchin ones.
Go back
like
there today.
We should, yeah. Like Marcel on Friends. They're just like swinging through the treetops, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are we're still live, right? This isn't loading on here.
Shoot. Hopefully we're still live.
It looks like we are. I don't know why. Oh, there, okay.
Okay, we're back. The computer was doing a little thing.
I prefer Florida, but stumbled upon houses in California.
Yeah. Houston.
We're doing pancakes in the oven for dinner. Oh, good, you guys.
Nice.
If you haven't seen the recipe
good.
already, when did I do a reel? Oh yeah, that was an Instagram reel.
Yeah.
Go over to Instagram. They're oven pancakes, which would make them not pancakes. It would make them oven cakes. Hot cakes.
Yeah, so they're super good.
It's just one way to avoid having to use oil, so you can just put them on parchment.
Yeah.
And you don't have to flip them. And they're almost more like a fluffy cookie or like a flat piece of cake. They're
they're super nutrient.
So good.
So
yeah,
nutritious.
they're not like sugar bombs.
No, they're oats and chia seeds and bananas, like the best things for you.
We put protein powder in them and organic soy milk for added protein and a little bit extra healthy fat. And yeah, that's it. And they're incredible.
Yep.
We bring them on the go with us a lot, so we'll make some for breakfast, which I'm gonna make some today for on the go. We'll make them for breakfast and save a few extras in a Ziploc.
Say hi. Shy. Max, say hi. Give us a shaka.
Heather said, we're at Whole Foods buying our first big box of bananas plus other staples. Heather, that's awesome. Say hi. Did you hear that? Buying their first big box of bananas at Whole Foods thanks to us. That's awesome.
Yeah, people think that we're crazy every time.
Careful, but if you
sweetie.
look at them like growing on the trees, they come in like a rack, which is about the same size as a case of bananas. So you're gonna get about the same amount from a rack. So I mean, bananas are one of those fruits that are meant to be consumed in bulk like that. So it's okay to buy them and enjoy them, and it's healthy, fiber-fueled sugar that's not bad for you. Any sugar in fruit is not bad for you. It's good for you. Is the retreat still going on? Are you guys time to chill. We are chilling right now, Stephanie. We are enjoying soaking up the last day in our Airbnb. We've been here for a week. We finished our 1 week long retreat. We've had a week off, and now we are going into retreat number 2 tomorrow. How do you incorporate your faith while on retreat? So, yeah, there are a lot of spiritual components to the retreat, and we kind of just let each person like do it for themselves however they want to. Like for meditation, we might mention that, like, you know, you can choose this, you can use this time to listen to God, because prayer is honestly when you're talking to God. Meditation is when you're listening to God.
Right.
So we talk a lot actually on like our after dinner, like 3 or 4 nights we have like a group coaching session, and it's more of just it's more of just a time to get to connect with each other, talk about our feelings, talk about past traumas or struggles, using it as like a safe space to just open up to each other and bounce ideas off. And faith always becomes like a pretty big component.
Yeah. It seems like almost everybody has a similar spiritual. I'll just say it. We're Christian. You guys know that. It seems like 9 out of 10 people that come are also Christians. So our conversations often evolve around our faith and
even when
nature and again, like, I love this idea of being connected to creation, and God created it all. So yes, we do yoga. You know, we get hateful comments from angry Christians that say that yoga is bad, and you know, we do the cacao ceremony, which is basically which is basically a
you guys are gonna think this is dorky. Can I say this quick?
Yeah.
At the end of yoga, the one thing that always weirds me out, like I think other people have caused me to feel weird about saying Om.
Yeah.
So this last retreat week, nobody could tell the difference. I was saying own, as in like making it my own practice.
Totally.
So like it truly is your own practice. Make it what it needs to be for you. Yeah. And another cool thing that we both heard on Instagram, sorry if this leaf blower guy is loud.
Yeah, can you guys still hear us? There's the leaf blower guy making a lot of noise. Hopefully.
I think this is really, really cool too. I'll have to find and link the little Instagram reel, but this person was talking about Jesus and God's true name, which is Yahweh, and how if you breathe, like those are the natural inhale and exhale sounds, like Yah and way is like the inhale and exhale. So like kind of if you can like, if you want to incorporate that into your yoga or a breathwork session, like that could be a really cool way to like feel connected to God.
Right. And again, I think the main thing here is that everybody,
I'm gonna find that real.
I say Erin is saying we're surrounded by hippies. Well, we are. There's that new movie coming out that I can't wait to see called The Jesus Revolution, and it's about these hippies basically that come into this church, you know, back in the 60s or 70s. I'm not 100% sure when it was, but that's who we're surrounded by. So a lot of everybody from the volunteers to the chefs, the yoga instructors, everybody, we're all very spiritual people, and it's actually strengthened my faith to be around people that, even though they don't call themselves Christians, they're very spiritually tapped in people. And it has caused me to grow in my faith because I see their devotion to planet Earth, being thankful for their food, the way they pray, taking care of their bodies, you know, and again, we're surrounded by all of these things like yoga that typically aren't, you know, Christian practices, but we're a group of Christians usually. Not everybody identifies like that.
And I don't think this is like this isn't a club. We're not excluding or being exclusive. I think it's more about what I've always found the most rewarding when it comes to like world travel or just, you know, mingling with people of different walks of life is to find the through line. Like where can we find common ground? Like what is that thread of truth that like interweaves all of us together, brings us together, helps us to feel harmonious and peaceful and happy together and love one another, as opposed to like, how can we like fight it out and like butt heads and like secretly not like each other because we differ in this view or that view. I don't like that. Whether it's someone who eats meat, like that's fine with me, or someone who has a different faith walk than me. I really we are really conscious of not
I
discriminating.
think
It's
what
just
we're
not
here
fair.
doing, like you said the word before, conduit, we always say conduit, like, Lord, make us a conduit, make me a conduit um, to other people so they can meet you, meet their creator, meet God, have a personal relationship. I saw a post on Instagram a couple days ago, and it had Jesus on the cross with the thief next to him, right? And the thief says, have mercy on me, whatever. Jesus says, today you will be with me in paradise. Someone commented on that and said, this man did not attend church. He didn't, beg for forgiveness. He did none of these things. He didn't look like a Christian. He did nothing like we're supposed to be doing as faithful Christians, except believed in Jesus. He believed in God. He believed in that. And that saved him. That saved his soul. He said, today, my son, you will be with me in paradise. The most important thing, for all of us is to have a personal relationship with our creator. And if that means we come to places like this and surround ourselves with other spiritual people or curious people, I think it's important to meet people where they are. So again, we can be a conduit so someone that's never opened a spiritual book like the Bible or done any type of spiritual work, practice, maybe there's something they can do on this retreat or something they hear or the food that they eat that opens their mind, it opens their heart to the idea of an all-loving, creative creator. And that could be the stimulus for the rest of their life. When that's when they can eventually see or meet God or have that personal relationship that we all need. And to deny certain people that because it doesn't align with our spiritual practice or the one that we think, or that other people, unfortunately there's a lot of judgmental Christians that want to say, well, you're not doing it right, you're not doing it right, you're not doing it right. Well, none of us are. None of us are doing it right, but I'm less concerned with doing it right, doing it perfect, and just providing space for people to possibly have an experience that could change the rest of their lives. Not just through food, not just through health and wellness, but yes, most importantly through spirituality and maybe a connection to God. And that for me, that happens in nature, and that happens through movement. We learn about a lot of things that we never learned about before while being here in Costa Rica, and it is. It has strengthened my faith. It has not turned me away. It has helped me see, looking at the plants, the perfect ratio, the golden ratio, Fibonacci. Like, there is a perfect, intelligent design in nature in everything that we see. And again, while this isn't a faith-based retreat, it is very spiritually empowered and awakening for me and everybody that attends. And so, yeah, practicing our faith does look different when we're in a place like this. It doesn't look like going to church, obviously.
I'm getting lots of questions or lots of comments on this topic here. I saw one question, unrelated, in between that I can very easily answer. Is a Vitamix really as good as they are made out to be? 100%.
Yes,
I can link that as well. That'll give you free shipping. So amazing. It just makes a better smoothie. It's so much thicker, and I mean, you can blend thick smoothies and nice creams. Let's see. So many people comment. Oh wait, that wasn't the one I was going to read. We had people weighing in on this topic.
Yeah.
The beauty of yoga is that you can do it to your own practice, and the fact that you can get whatever you want out of it is the best. I agree, Wendy. I ignore the hateful Christians who think they're holier than thou. Their attitude tells me who they really are. I do yoga, Tai Chi, love nature. It's so connecting to God's creation.
Agree.
Definitely. I think that the judgment comes from a place of fear, whereas the acceptance comes from a place of peace and love. So it's like, do you want to exude fear, or which is also like being stuck within the confines of like your church and the rigidity and the structure? And I'm not saying everybody that goes to church or practices a religion is trapped. I mean, you should use that as like a way to free yourself.
Right.
And I just think it's beautiful to be able to experience other people's cultures and practices. It just strengthens my own faith.
Yeah.
And something else I heard too was like, God only gave us 10 commandments. That's really not that much. He only gave us 10 simple rules to follow. Right. And he didn't do that to like come down on us with his iron fist. He did that to give us freedom. Right. There is freedom within there, because like he's like, look, all you have to do is follow these 10 steps. And honestly, this is laid out to make your life easier and more enjoyable. Like if you can follow these, then the world is yours. Like enjoy, enjoy the beauty.
They're like precepts for a healthy soul, body, mind. Just like the way we eat. You know, we're not the vegan police. We don't have the vegan 10 commandments, but we definitely adhere. Hey Max, can she have it, please? Yeah, just let her have it, please. We definitely adhere to
I'll
these.
Get you something. You want me to get you a toy?
We adhere to these rules because we found that they are good for us. They help us to be our healthiest, strongest, happiest selves when we have, some bumpers, right? Because it's like, oh, like we said before, too much oil or too many animal products. You know, any of these things. Actually, like, it becomes a slippery slope, and so that's why we also think that a healthy relationship with, when it comes to your spirituality and faith and looking at these guideposts as like safety nets that serve us and protect us more than hinder us and make us feel bad. So yeah, I don't know. We're finding there's freedom within these modalities, whether it's spirituality or health and wellness. There's actually freedom within the confines or the box that you draw. Mm-hmm. People say like spirituality is the water, but religion is the bottle. Erin, you always say that. And it's like without some sort of like defined container, it can just spill out and maybe even wash away.
It can be difficult to grasp. It's like you don't have to tote around a water bottle to drink water, but like it just makes it easier, like something for people to follow and adhere to. Yeah. And like for me, I can relate it to workouts. Yeah. I get a much better workout when I do a guided group or video workout. When I do it with a group, I get that sense of community, and it makes me work harder. It makes me keep my abs tighter. And like some people think in church that means like, oh, I'm trying to like show up and like be better than my neighbor, but not necessarily. Like I think that there's that quote I just sent you, just like iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. Yeah. And we're there to like pick each other up, say, hey, you can do better, shape up. Like sometimes we do have to say that. Dusty and I do that for each other all the time. Yeah. And we've helped to refine each other and hone each other in that way. And so I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just think it's like, it's not wrong to go to church. I love the Catholic Church. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And I'm like, I never feel afterwards like it's made me a worse person for going. Right. You know? And the same with yoga too, though. Like,
I think we're saying is that, like, again, yes, we're vegans. Can't throw the baby out
with the bathwater.
Yes, we're vegans. Yes, we're Christians, and those things seem like they're very limiting. But for us, they're not. They're the bottle that holds, that keeps it together for us. Mm-hmm. Because without those things, I can get lost. Right. You know what I mean? If you're a person that is okay, like I'm not as rigid with my workouts as Erin is. As a result, I'm not as fit. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe if I had a more defined workout time, space, regimen, I would therefore be more fit. And I want that. I need that. And so I see that in other forms of my life when it comes to my food and my faith, which is what we're talking about now.
I know that the way I'm wired, I generally need a guided video workout to get a really good focused sweat session and feel like I've truly got something out of it.
Yeah.
And the same goes for like the Sabbath. I feel like I get the most out of it when I go to church, receive communion, listen really intently to the homily, which also doesn't happen with small children. But yeah, just the structure helps because it's like it's something. I know that it requires discipline, which helps to refine me into a better Christian. It requires discipline to know I'm going to go to bed a little bit earlier Saturday morning, to get up a little earlier Sunday, to get to church on time. I have to dress nice and do all these things.
We get to do all these things.
And so it's like, is this making me worse or better? It's making me a better person.
Totally.
But we've gone through phases and we're working on it.
Yeah.
So it's not good or bad. There are people who, like my mom, who don't need church to
Right. Yeah.
to really be invested in their faith. It's just
She's the most invested person, and
but she still has a routine around like when she does her Bible study with her friends and when she does it for herself at home. It's just like it takes more discipline.
The main thing for us is recognizing that everybody's different. So when we go out to eat with Brian and Jody, our friends who were vegan for a super long time, now they ordered some non-vegan Indian food because it's what they love and they feel like that's what serves them. And again, that's okay. Like we don't necessarily care to impose or push our opinions on people. We share what we do because we understand that there are people that are asking. And it's like, so we're not pushing this on anyone. If you come to our retreat, you don't have to be any of these things. We've had non-vegan 75-year-old non-vegan Canadian ladies come on our retreats and get so much out of it, and they have nothing really that much in common with us, but they have amazing experiences, and that's the bottom line for us. These aren't Christian retreats. These aren't vegan retreats. They're not, young or old. We literally have a mix of people, and that's what I think our goal in life, and my goal in life is to like go out and be in the world with so many different people. My tattoos, for instance.
Says,
I have people that comment about tattoos, and I'm like, these to me are like a like they get me into conversations with people that typically wouldn't. You know what I mean? Because they would see a shaved head and the way I dress or whatever a certain way. But the way I dress or the fact that I have tattoos enables me to talk and have conversations with other people that otherwise wouldn't maybe feel comfortable, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. The lives that we're leading are to, like we said before, be conduit for God, for health, for wellness, for all these things, and we've got a lot of work to do. I wake up most days feeling not great mentally, and so it's like I just want to be there to share with you guys and everybody that comes with us in any way we can.
Ariel says, having these conversations and having such a beautiful spiritual awakening and connection with God is one of my many motivations for wanting to join you on these retreats. One day I know I'll join. That's awesome. We would love to have you.
Totally.
Heather, so we had a big eye-opening experience reading and looking at scripture with God's design was that we be plant-based. That's a handful of scriptures that back it up.
Yeah.
That being said, yes, I do agree. Like Hawaii and Costa Rica both feel very like Garden of Eden-esque. And if you think back to that time, like animals and man were not pitted against each other yet. Right. Before the fall, everybody lived in harmony. And yes, obviously that would mean like animals weren't eating each other and people weren't eating animals. And so yeah, that makes sense. And so it is very like aspirational, I think, to just try and live your life that way on a path of like non-harm, which actually is like part of Ayurveda and like yoga, non-harm. So that means, and it doesn't mean that like you never mess up, because it's virtually impossible to never harm anything ever. Like you step on a bug and you just caused harm, or you accidentally hit a squirrel when you're driving.
Right.
Or, so yes, I get it's like that's the way God intended it. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen for everyone.
Right.
In the same way that like we were naked. We weren't ashamed of our bodies, but now we're fully clothed. So do you beat yourself up for wearing clothing or being ashamed of your body? No. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we are doing different than the way God had intended because we live in a fallen, broken world. So, in the same way, we can't all be expected to eat vegan and not harm another. We can't be expected to walk around naked either. So, there's a lot of things that God intended that are different now, because of the fall.
Yeah. I didn't expect this chat to go here, but this is my favorite thing to talk about, like, seriously.
We might have to wrap it soon, but
we've been going well over an hour, but this is a fun conversation. Yeah, this is, again, if you guys are into this, we can go live more. We can do this. This is why we do our retreats, because we want to, we're always evolving, and that's the main thing is figuring out, like I've said 10 times now, figuring out how we can serve people through our experiences, through being in nature, through eating in harmony with nature, and yes, acknowledging God and all of these things, and asking for being open to a relationship with your Creator, and just Brian talks about the chakras, and he talks about the colors and how these points in our body, the pineal gland, and all of these things that, again, are very new agey, that a lot of people might not be fully aligned with either, but they're very, I've read about Christianity and yoga, and Christianity and the chakras, and how these things actually do align, and if you're open to...
The chakras aren't it's not like a religion, it's more so like Chinese medicine. There are meridians, there are certain points in your body that have nerve endings that if you look at the nervous system, you'll see that when you prick the heel of your foot, there's a nerve that runs all the way up to like your left earlobe or something like that. So,
and you can
or a different
feel.
organ.
So this is something very...
It's just another like...
You said this yesterday when we were in the pool. We were having a similar conversation, Erin and I were, and she was like, you can't deny that there's an energetic presence in these certain points, and she's like, because if we think hungry thoughts, our mouth salivates, our tummy growls. If we think sexual thoughts, things happen.
Aroused down there.
Right, things happen physically. So there's energetic. If you feel nervous, again, that can happen in the stomach, or that can happen in the chest.
If I think about live or see a newborn baby, I lactate.
Yeah.
So the power of the mind, those are very concrete examples that we think is sending energy to different parts of our bodies depending on those thoughts. So I asked Dusty, so where are negative or anxious thoughts going in the body? Which Brian talks about with the chakras. You can have blockages at different points in your body from trauma, from anxiety, from stress, from just negative thinking. And it really is wow, it's making me think. And the other thing that really is making me think too is that Hidden Messages in Water. It's a teeny tiny book that you all should really read. But he talked about how they said different things or put different words on these water containers, and then they would freeze it, and these ice crystals would be brilliant and beautiful if they had positive words associated with them, or good music, like classical music. And then the other ones, there would be almost no crystals, or they would be really ugly if there was negative words or negative music associated with them. So
words are vibrations. Thoughts then turned into words. They create our reality. And again,
we're all just energy. We're energy bodies.
And our next Saturday, we're gonna post the video. I just finished editing it with Brian. He talks about this stuff. I know that we're gonna get some hateful Christian comments about it because a lot of people are afraid of these things. But again, for me and for us, these reinforce God. These just blow my mind with wonder, saying, of course there's an intelligent creator. Of course there's intelligent design behind all of this. It is so magical and so amazing to see and to feel and to listen. So yeah, we could go on and on and on. Come on one of our retreats, and we'll have these conversations in person.
Someone said, where was that one?
The boobs one?
Yeah.
I saw that one too.
For years after my boys grew up, I would still get tingles in my boobs if I heard a baby cry, LOL.
Yeah.
It's true. It's embarrassing. Like the other night when we were in Florida going for a walk, and like nobody ever stops us, and somebody stopped us.
Right.
And I was thinking about Liv, and I was like, is it okay if I go for a walk without a bra?
Yeah.
And she's like, please. And sure enough, we stopped and talked to somebody, and then
Yeah.
I thought, I haven't breastfed Liv in a while. And I had to finish the conversation like this because I was lactating.
Like, yeah, through your shirt. Anyway, we
He
can
also
go.
made me go braless into the store last night.
Okay, I haven't seen anyone wear a bra since we got here, and
I was walking through
you
the
gotta let
store
them
like
things
this. Like
hang.
I'm way too modest for that. But
I
the
know.
story there is that Liv wouldn't nurse because I had a salty sandy swimsuit, so I had to go without the top to
Yeah.
feed her.
Yeah.
And then too much information. I'm
TMI.
embarrassed. Shouldn't have even gone there.
But it's true. It's just our bodies are amazing, and our minds can work for or against us. And
So think about where the-
nature is amazing, and it's like, how can you open your mind? I see someone here that said a lot of Christians deny the chakras and say they're demonic. I have to unfollow so many Christian accounts because so many Christians are obsessed with evil. I know it sounds weird and they may not recognize it, but so many Instagram channels are talking about celebrities and why their performances are evil and demonic and all these things. And I'm like, I'm sorry, as a Christian, as a fellow believer, I'm looking at your content, I'm looking at the things you're saying, and it is giving all power, all attention to darkness.
We're supposed to expose it, but like I feel
Yeah.
like some people are consumed by it.
They're-
Like be
yeah.
aware without being consumed, which
Right.
means like maybe you need to be consuming more light
Yeah.
and uplifting things, because after I look at those accounts,
Yeah.
I feel anxious, I feel scared, I
Hate
don't want to leave, I
Right.
feel sick.
I feel all the same things, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, the devil, he's everywhere, and I'm consumed, and all of a sudden, like, I can't listen to my favorite music, and my
Yeah.
favorite celebrity is a child molester, and all these things, and Costa Rica, and the hippies, and the yoga, and it happens, it's panic.
It's perspective,
Yeah.
and we are very aware, and we are taught to be on guard and always of sober mind, because you
Right.
do never know when. Okay, so this was something I saw on Instagram that is very true. The devil isn't going to come at you with like blatant evil.
Right.
He's going to come at you with like evil shielded or clothed in like
Yeah.
a teeny thread of truth
Right.
that entices you. It's like that little opening.
Yeah.
And so yes, I know that like you could say that yoga could be that thing, or it's like, but at the end of the day, like, what are you coming back to?
Right.
What are you doing? Like before you go to bed, are you praying?
Yeah.
Are you thanking God?
Yeah.
Are you speaking to God? I mean, you just have to be always prayerful, always present, always of sober mind. So you have the ability to discern and to, make the best possible choices.
Totally.
We all slip up. We all mess up. None of us are perfect. None of us have all the answers. But,
As
we just
content
have to keep feeding our
creators.
soul.
Right.
Which is why Eat, Move, Rest. We eat clean, we move regularly, we exercise, we get good rest, so that we are in this top-notch place where our minds are clear. They're not being bogged down and fogged up by
Yeah.
all of the junk. And it really truly has helped me to have less anxiety, less stress, and be able to better discern what's right and what's wrong.
Totally. And so like someone just said, love and light, and that's, as a creator, as content creators, I'm always filming beauty and trying to make beautiful things, beautiful videos. And that, for me, my grandma always said, you catch more flies with sugar than you do with salt. And it's like, again, if my job is to be a conduit for health, love, happiness, lightness, etc., I'm not judging these other, well, maybe I am judging these other people for being dark. They can do whatever they want. As a content creator for myself, I want to lead with light, point towards light. What is it? Share the light, be the light, live in the light, whatever, all the things. Now, I'm guilty of a lot of falling short in a lot of different ways, but
Here's this. Shannon said, I think why some people have problems with other things like chakra, etc., is because God is our ultimate healer, and
Right.
other religious say we can heal ourselves and take away from God. I
Totally.
agree with that, but I also think God provided tools for us and different healing modalities for us. So
For
yeah,
sure.
it's just if you're taking it back to God. Like
Yeah.
God blessed us with all of these fruiting trees.
Yeah.
Because yes, I can very much say that healthy eating helped to heal many parts of me.
Right.
But I'm very
We
fully aware that
didn't-
that is a blessing from God. Like
Yeah.
He provided this healing modality through food. He
Right.
provided this healing modality through energy work, through movement,
Right.
through mindfulness, you know.
Through counseling,
It's
through
all
all
here
of
for
these,
us.
all of these things, they can, Chinese medicine, all these things can all be, again, small conduits that can help. And so it's like, I totally agree that people can take that and say, I can heal myself away from God. But again, like Erin just said, God, I hate to say it, God doesn't heal now like he did in the Bible. Of course, there's miracles once in a while, but when Jesus was walking and healing people, you know, that hasn't happened
Someti-
for
I think he
2,000
does.
years.
I mean, he doesn't.
I think there are miracles. I think there are things like that. But Jesus isn't walking around placing his hands on people, healing them like he was, you know, the days before his crucifixion. I think God is one of the healing, all of these things, whether it's success, work, whatever. I think it's one of those things that's like, I'm going to help you if you help yourself.
Yeah, so I was just gonna
Sometimes,
say that, like a
sometimes
parent, like
he
you
does.
saying to Max.
Totally. Sometimes he does take addicts and people at rock bottom and he intercedes and says, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to take this from you, whatever. But I think for the most part, he says, here is this abundance of fruit and healthy foods, you know, etc. Here's a Whole Foods in your
He
in your
places
town.
people in your life that can
Yeah.
help you, like your old pastor, or Pastor Schnocky. Like,
Right.
He places people in your path, and I'm like,
Yeah.
He placed Dusty in my path, who helped me so much during my struggles. I can't believe, like, how much he helped. And then through him, he placed your pastor. Like,
Yeah.
It's like you're a conduit again, and it's like
So-
I very much have been able to see, and
Yeah.
especially in hindsight, like how God has placed certain people,
Yeah.
certain practices in certain places in my path.
Totally.
All the P's, people, places, practices.
Someone else asked for us to explain the chakras. That is coming in Brian's interview next week. I'm not saying that I fully believe or adhere
It's fascinating.
to the
That's
chakras
what-
either, mostly because I don't fully understand them. I'm just saying I don't deny them. And that's okay
It's
for me to
just-
kind of be in an in-between state. So next Saturday, we're posting our interview with Brian, and he talks about the chakras. And Brian was raised Catholic and all these things, very much a believer in God, but very much also believes in this energy work and healing, eating certain colors to open up certain energy blockages and things that, again, I'm not saying are Bible to me, but they're very interesting and very fun. And again, go back to the reason why we do all of these things that we do are to open our minds, to open other people's minds to different modalities that can possibly heal us as individuals, because we all have trauma, we all have things that we can improve, and if we can improve ourselves, we can help our friends and our families and our children to also be better. And you know, I guess that's what we're doing, and we're super blessed to be able to do that, because we get paid to travel to these amazing locations, and it's a dream.
I'm really like thinking next year might be the year where we like do multiple retreats in multiple locations, like Costa Rica, Italy, and maybe somewhere else.
Yeah,
maybe
we'll
Florida.
maybe we'll shoot for like 3 retreats in 3 different locations. We've done this now for 5 years.
I really want to do one that's a little bit more like,
Strict.
we're just gonna find an Airbnb that
Yeah.
can sleep 10 people. Moms, bring your kids or your
Yeah.
baby, and like, let's do plant-based and toddler meals. Let's do kid activities and adult activities.
Yeah.
Like some things separate, some things together. Let's talk about breastfeeding. Let's talk about milk supply. Let's talk about hormones and cycles and eating in sync and working in sync with your natural bodily rhythms, and that could be cool. And a family style or a couples retreat. You know, there's so many options. Like if we could start doing these in Florida, we could do all kinds of like focused retreats like that. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I really do like having a little bit of everyone, you know,
Yeah.
older, younger, some couples, some not.
Me
So.
too. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
It'd be fun for our kids to have other kids. One last thing that I might talk about quick. Vicky says, I don't know if anyone asked, is there any advice for being married to someone that is not much of a believer? Whether it's food, whether it's faith, you have to lead by example, and you have to be the light 100%, because again, I could preach to my brother about this way of living and eating, or Erin's brother, or our parents, and I can preach and preach and preach. But what ultimately has an impact on people is what they see. And so if I am vibrant and loving life and energetic and fit, healthy, if I'm all these things, if I'm full of life, people will be attracted to that, and they will start to ask questions. And so Vicky, I would say, be the light and share the light. Don't shove the light. just put the light out there. Let your light shine, whether it's food, faith, you know,
And
spirituality, your spouse. Make yourself come so alive that your partner can't help but what you're, you know, but not he can't help but want to sip from the cup that you're drinking from, because he sees the life that you have within you, and that's the best way, because when they come and ask, boom, they're open to receiving. So make them ask the question, what are you doing?
Yeah, marriage and relationships should be about, you know, giving and taking and compromise. So maybe you bend a little bit for him and say, like, what could I do for you that I know would make you happy? And then
Right.
maybe that thing that he could do for you that would make you happy would be like coming to a service, or like watching the Chosen series with you.
Yeah.
Which I saw a couple people ask if we've seen the Chosen, and yes, we've watched many a Chosen.
Totally. Yeah, someone just said,
So-
wondering if you can use your platform to give back to the community, those in need of food and water. So in the past, we have done both. We for Thanksgiving, we usually do a donation to,
We've done a handful of
what's the food one?
those. We give to Charity Water and
Charity
then Food
Water,
for Life.
Food for Life.
Or
Yeah, so
FFL or
we've
something.
done both in the past. We typically do them around like times of year, like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But yeah, we could definitely, maybe when we do our water video that we would like to do this spring, maybe we'll tie in another Charity Water fundraiser. That would be fun for sure. But yeah, we've done many fundraisers and sold t-shirts, and we've done a lot of things in the past. For Max's birthday, we did a charity water campaign a couple years ago. So yeah, definitely we need to continue to do more fundraising for sure. So thanks for the reminder. We definitely will. All right, guys, the kids are ready to get out of the pool. I'm very surprised.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
We are loving it here. I'm going to be sad to leave, but also ready to get back to the States.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been fun. Thanks, guys.
Super fun. Have a good rest of
And
the
if you
weekend.
want to come on a future retreat, the best thing to do is to stay signed up for our newsletters, so you'll get our announcements. You can do that through the website.
Yeah, stay.
We have the retreats button at the top of the website. You can always click to check up on.
Yeah.
And if you want to eat like we're eating here, like that's basically what our meal planner is
Right.
high raw, but also tons of grounding, nourishing cooked meals. So
Totally.
check out our meal planner.
It's now an app. Our meal planner is now an app. That we should probably talk more about that.
Yeah.
But we always kind of forget. But we do have some super helpful resources, from recipe ebooks to the meal planner app, if you guys want to get started on, you know, like we did with food. So anyway, this is us saying goodbye. This is an hour and a half.
Holy
This
cow.
is the longest chat we've ever
That
done.
was a marathon.
We could do
it. It was fun though.
We could do it all day, which has been great. So anyway, have a good weekend, guys. Stay tuned next week. We're having an interview with Brian at the retreat center. Much love. Okay, Erin, you better end this so I don't mess it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Yes, God.